Hi, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Litter Media Live. Back in studio and back together with the icon, Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey. Thank you so much for watching.
Good to have you with us on this Thursday.
I was out truly in the field yesterday.
You were indeed.
This was part of the VA campus yesterday, and I didn't think I was going to have to walk as far as I did. So I got my 10,000 plus steps in yesterday.
More than a Friday night football game, huh?
More than a football game, absolutely. But we'll show you why I was out and about yesterday, and we'll share details there for you. And I will also quiz you, because you went to the EOC debriefing.
Yeah.
So I want to find out what happened there, because I was back here fixing the Circleville mayor interview.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so we are here. Hi, thank you for joining us. Today might be the last good-looking day of the week.
Yeah, clouds and 67 today. Same temperature tomorrow, but rain. In fact, rain could possibly move in later tonight or late tonight into the majority of tomorrow. Now, for the weekend, clouds and cooler with highs in the mid to upper 50s on Sunday. So enjoy today, because it's going to cool off a little bit over the next few days and maybe get a little wet.
Yeah, so if you have some mowing to do, you might want to try and attack that this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just ahead, we'll take a look at the news topics of the day. We'll show you again what was going on at the VA. This was only a test, just an exercise, not an actual emergency. But we got a chance to learn more about it, so that's coming up. And a look at sports as well as this date in history, all just ahead here on Litter Media Live. I want to take a moment to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor for 4 decades now. If you want to find out more about their services, click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website. Go to littermedia.com, click on Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for more details.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
Time now for news. And today we're going to start with a little field trip we took yesterday.
Yeah, it was the local emergency planning committee and a full exercise that was very entailed yesterday.
Paul Minnie telling everyone where the coffee and donuts are, and there is Aaron Smith. He is Pedro. This is really the setting that they had for this. Is they got together a number of people from Fayette County, from Ross County, Vinton County, all helping out with this tanker exercise. Now, the firemen, they were all with Chillicothe and the VA Fire Department, but the Chillicothe Hazmat Unit and the Chillicothe VA Fire Department, they are all the hazmat officials for this area, this region. So we had the opportunity to catch up with the guy who you saw just a moment ago as the controller for what was going on, and that is Fire Chief Aaron Knotts of the Chillicothe Fire Department, to talk more about this exercise.
Training is always important. If you don't train, when this happens real world, bad things can happen. So that's why we train, so we can keep up on real world stuff. Chillicothe gets involved as, we are a big part of the local LEPC. Anyway, that has to deal with hazmat, and we are, between us and the VA here, we are the hazmat team for Ross County. So if there's going to be any kind of hazmat incident, it's our two entities, we will be the ones that are involved.
People take for granted. They don't realize how much time it takes to prepare to get in one of these hazmat suits.
Yes, hazmat, it's totally different than any other incident we would normally do. Someone's hurt, sick, house fire, it's as fast as we can get there, as fast as they can get help. With hazmat, it's not that. It's truly a sit back, wait, evaluate, because if not, you're just going to add more victims. We rush in there. Now that toxic chemical is on us. Now instead of having 2 victims, you got 4 victims. So it truly does. Hazmat is that way. Hazmat takes time, a lot of resources, a lot of tools. So it's a slow process.
I noticed taking vitals and everything before they get suited up. That, I assume, is to perchance something happens down here. You know what affected them or impacted them.
Correct. You take the vitals also, just to make sure, if someone goes in there and before they even start working, if their blood pressure is already skyrocketed or their pulse rate, or whether they're having issues, then they shouldn't go do what they're going to do. Putting them in an air pack and then encapsulating them in a suit, just going to add the stress to that. So we try to make sure that they're within normal limits for everything, that, they're able to do that job and not become a victim themselves in a suit.
I have no idea how much the temperature gets in those things, but it's got to be an incubator.
It is. It's very, because again, it's total encapsulating. So obviously, if your body heat's 98 degrees, the thing that's coming off of you is 98 degrees, and there's nowhere for that to go. So the sweat, the condensation, it just builds up. It gets extremely hot in there. The sun's going through there. It's like a greenhouse effect. So the sun, it puts more heat in there. So yes, it's very hot. 15 to 20 minutes in something like that, let alone the 30 to 40 pounds of equipment you have on top of you. It's very a lot of exertion.
Everyone's evaluated in what's going on here today, and it's not really a grading per se, but how did you feel your people were prepared?
I think we were prepared very well. We do a lot of training, we do a lot of stuff, but as what this is made for, we did some things wrong, we did some things right, and it's a learning. That's why you train. We learn from it, we get better from it, and so and we move on. So when something does happen, we're like, oh yeah, remember we've done this because we've learned from the exercise.
A very informative moment there, but just observing and watching all this come together, the men and women putting those hazmat suits on, and again, I can't imagine the heat. I know that Fireman Safford, there was a moment where I had the camera right up in his face inside that windshield, and the suits, like the right arm kind of dangles down a little bit, and they can remove their arm out of that sleeve. Well, he was taking a rag and or towel, wiping off the inside from all the perspiration and condensation that was building up inside of his hood there. So it was like 55 degrees for this exercise, but when they took the suits off, they looked like it was 200 degrees inside.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So this is all the preparation they do when a spill of some sort happens. So this is no rush job here. They want to make sure that they are airtight and able to go in and take care of the circumstances as best they possibly can. And that was just a fog machine there.
Yeah. And these drills have been going on for years, folks.
Yeah.
But East Palestine, Ohio, reminded of how badly things can go sometimes. And certainly we don't want anything like that to ever happen. But if it does, that's why they practice these things.
And you saw the drone there. That was not my drone. That was the reason I couldn't bring my drone. Chillicothe Fire Department has their own drone where they can fly over top of the tanker, take a look at it, and see what they can assess before they send a team into it, too.
Right.
So a very informative day yesterday. And
was there any more you wanted on that?
You had the debriefing. What did you learn in the debrief?
Not a whole lot. I was there for only about 15 minutes. It was near the end. It was actually those other counties that were critiquing what they found. I won't go into detail because Aaron said we did some things right, some things wrong. I won't go into any of that. But It was pretty much detailing the things that they needed to improve on. So, again, that's why you practice.
Yeah. I remember being on an active shooter drill that they were doing like that at Chillicothe City Schools several years ago. And it's kind of, in some respects, it's mind-boggling how they know how to handle issues. Mm-hmm. They set up scenarios like this so they can walk through it, they can practice it, albeit it's once every 4 years they do a full-scale exercise like this. And I'm sure they'd like to do it more often, but I'm sure there's costs involved.
Oh, yeah.
And all.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the other things in news, interview that we did actually a couple of days ago, went to debut yesterday, Pickaway County Special Edition with Circleville Mayor Don McElroy, and that again can be found on our Facebook and YouTube sites. The mayor talked a lot about his 12 years in office.
Mm-hmm. And that was an interesting setting, just to sit down and listen to him talk. And I like the fact that he explained how he ended up in Circleville. Mm-hmm. And been a resident, what was it, 30 years, did you say?
Well, I think he settled in the area when he was 42, after he'd gotten married, or soon after that.
And he's in his 70s.
He's 78 now. So. Yeah. But this is Don's last year in office. He's not seeking re-election. But will actually be on city council because he's unopposed in that position next year.
And he may be close to 80. He doesn't act or look like he's
he's very active. Just plays a lot of golf, and he's looking good. But nice gentleman. Mm-hmm. While we were up in Pickaway County, let's talk about Ohio Christian University, what used to be called Circleville Bible College. Their alumni invited to the Circleville campus June the 10th for a reunion and opening of camp meeting. It's also the 75th anniversary of that school. And I can tell you, when it was Circleville Bible College, it didn't look like this. No. A lot of older buildings, and that is one of the prettier campuses you'll find in this part of the state of Ohio.
As a kid growing up in Pickaway County, I remember looking in the Circleville Herald, they would show the graduating class of CBC, and at that time it seemed like it was like 16 to 20. Right. Now they have the number of students are just hard to put a figure on. It's amazing. It's grown so much.
I know when you count their online courses, they had up to 3,000 before the pandemic. I'm not sure just where they stand now, but on campus, residential, I think it might be several hundred.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Explore this piece of Pickaway County history now, an event venue at Gold Cliff Park. Stop by during their open house and see all the new renovations and possibilities for this 25-acre space. Pickaway County Dog Shelter will also be on site with dogs for adoption as well as a fundraiser. There'll be snacks, also music and fun. That's coming up tomorrow from noon until 8:30 p.m. We also had a special edition with Chillicothe's VA Medical Center Director Ken Mortimer yesterday. Ken telling us he's a Lima, Ohio native. So he says, I know all about Buckeye Land. And he said, I understand Chillicothe, which I think this is neat because, as I was telling somebody last night, I think Ken gets the culture here because Lima is a little bigger than Chillicothe, but very comparable. And they're going to pick up the ball and keep going out at VA Medical Center.
And he was excited about how things look despite it being 100 years old.
So, with any aging building, there are infrastructure challenges. You can't necessarily knock out walls and do a lot of those things the way you might normally. But the thing is, a lot of people, they come through the campus and they drive through and they see the old buildings and they think it's old. But when you go inside, and I would invite, a lot of people who, especially veterans, who may not have been to our facility to see inside the facilities. Our engineering and facilities team has done a fantastic job. We have some extremely modern technology, beautiful facilities, things that you would, just looking at the outside of the building, you'd say there's no way you can do that in a 100-year-old building. And to be honest, sometimes the impossible is merely only difficult for them.
I didn't tell him about our cooking experience in their kitchen out there. If I had, he might not have let us come out there again. But
little insider news: you did mention that he was obviously was familiar with our interviews because he said you usually have guests sit here, right?
Yeah, so he knew all about it. So Ken, again, welcome to the community, and we hope you'll be a long time stay. Paint Valley Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Board announcing that Kelly Dennis is back. Not his first go-around with Adam H., but he, of course, was with the Ross County and also Pickaway County Health District for a number of years. But he'll be joining Adam H. as their new associate director. Welcome back to Chillicothe. He wasn't going that long, but it's good to have Kelly right here working with us.
He's a good guy.
Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Parks and Watercraft blazing the trail to sustainability by following the mission of Conserve Ohio. Paint Creek and Rocky Fork State Park are silver level recipients to these honors. Actions listed in the sustainability plan include conserving water and limiting waste to help protect natural resources for future use. Tip of the cap to those two local state parks. Ohio State Fire Marshal and Ohio Department of Public Safety has presented annual awards. This happened yesterday up in Columbus for exceptional service to individual firefighters. EMTs and community operations also involved. And Mark Mance of Baltimore in Fairfield County received the Ohio Fire Educator Lifetime Achievement Award. Our tip of the cap to Mark Mance. Hike the Church Hollow Trail coming up this Sunday at 2 p.m. You can meet at the camp store to hike along the scenic Church Hollow Trail in search of beautiful spring wildflowers, mushrooms, warblers, and more. Bring your binoculars and your sense of adventure. Wear good hiking shoes and pack water because this is a moderately difficult 2-mile trail.
I wonder if they call it Church Hollow because of the church that is there. It's side of the trails.
Very well could be. Our buddy Dave Tenner shared this. I'm wondering if Dave's going to hike out there.
That's a good question.
He's in pretty good shape, isn't he?
I have to send him a text and ask.
Yeah, he was trying to get you to work out more at one time, so I know he's
we
in
used
good
to be
shape.
workout buddies, but I haven't seen a treadmill since those days.
I imagine Dave's in pretty good shape. The month of May, which is just next week, starts May. Monday is Mental Health Month, and the Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Board will be conducting a walk, run, and roll concert and car show May 20th. I think Ken actually mentioned this event yesterday when he was here. That'll run May 20th, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., again at the Chillicothe Veterans Affairs Medical Center. In our daily road report, down in Dan's country, Pike County, work's underway for a resurfacing project on US 23 between Wakefield Mountain Road and the village of Piketon. At least one lane of traffic will be maintained in each direction on 23 throughout construction, which goes through this summer.
And that's actually south of me.
Mm-hmm.
That's southeast of me, because I live out by Pike Lake, which is technically Pike County, but it's only like 3 miles into Pike County.
Right. So there you have it. Sports coming up.
All right. In sports, we'll take a look at some softball.
Tennis.
Exciting for the Reds.
Tennis.
Last 3 days, yes.
A championship in tennis.
We'll touch on that and a whole lot more. And the NFL draft begins tonight, too, so we'll touch on that as well. All right. But first, let's tell you about McDonald's. Yesterday, of course, was the open interview day. Mm-hmm. If you missed that, your opportunity to sit down and visit with the folks who run the McDonald's locations in Circleville and Greenfield and Waverly and the 4 locations here in Chillicothe every Wednesday from 2 until 5 p.m. If you are looking for work, they are looking for you. And if you click on any ad you see on our website for McDonald's, it takes you right to their HR department where you can sign up online to work for McDonald's.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. So is the strawberry and cream pie. Make sure you stop into McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
Coming up, sports on the way next.
You haven't had vodka soda like this. No one has. Made with the world's smoothest vodka plus real juice. New White Claw Vodka Soda.
Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
If you've got need for a dumpster, Scioto Valley Dumpsters is who you need to call. 740-253-8389. And if Carl answers the phone, tell him that Dan and Mike sent you, because you got a job and you got a need for a dumpster. He's the guy to get it to you. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Or click on this ad anywhere you see it and take you right to their Facebook page to learn yet even more about what they do at Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Let's get you excited about sports.
Yes. We'll start out with high school tennis. Congratulations to the Waverly Tigers boys tennis team. They won their 6th consecutive SOC championship. Would you call that a dynasty?
Yes.
Yeah. And this weekend is not only the tournament bracket pairings for softball, but also tennis. So we hope to know how teams like Waverly and Unioto and so forth, Chillicothe guys, are going to fare in their postseason. Softball yesterday, Westfall is a 13-2 winner over Paint Valley, but Olivia Dumm, Westfall pitcher, picked up her 500th career strikeout, and she's just been pitching for 2.5 seasons.
And that's even more incredible because she did it in Crocs.
I have a feeling she was probably wearing spikes there. But congratulations to both Westfall and Olivia on that milestone performance. Of course, also in softball, the Wheelersburg Lady Pirates, defending state champions, ranked number 1 in the state. They're now 18-0. And the team they beat 10-4 yesterday just happened to be the number 4 ranked team in the state of Ohio, Portsmouth West. Pretty tough conference, that SOC. And some other Twitter scores from yesterday. FAC softball, Jackson over Washington. Portsmouth, the baseball winner. And down at the bottom there, FAC baseball, Washington, in a big matchup with Jackson. I think going into that game, Washington was undefeated. Jackson had 1 loss, but the Blue Lions win at 5-2, handing Jackson their 2nd conference loss, so gives them a little breathing room in the FAC baseball standings.
And Chillicothe picked up a win in softball as well, correct?
Yeah, as well as in baseball.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was over McLean, if I'm not mistaken. How about the Cincinnati Reds?
How about this guy?
Oh, what a story.
Graham Ashcraft.
Grandma passed away, and he still wanted to start. I guess his grandmother was a big Rangers fan.
Yeah.
And that's who he beat yesterday, the Texas Rangers. But she became a Reds fan when Ashcraft went with the Reds. And I tell you what, I don't know if you saw his post-game press conference yesterday, but you couldn't watch it without tearing up. He got choked up a number of times, but a big win. The Reds are off today, but they've won 3 straight.
Now, when he didn't get the win, because when he left, it was 3-2, but then the Rangers scored to tie things up.
Because of the bullpen.
Right.
Sims messed it up. But he was the star of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Unequivocally.
Well, star of the game defensively. On the offensive side, how about Nick Senzel? He has had a big series, had the walk-off home run, and Jim Day was getting ready to interview him in the post.
Yeah,
game.
Got the Viking.
He had to go get the Viking helmet and the cape to put on and everything. It was pretty cool.
But that was the only home run they've hit this week.
Yeah.
The only home run they've hit this week. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what I said?
At Great American Ballpark, where you're supposed to be able to just launch the baseball.
And Senzel's homer, I mean, it looked like it was gone as soon as he hit it, but when they were replaying it, it didn't clear the fence by that much.
Yeah.
So
it sounded like it was going to go, though.
But David Bell, after the game, said, we've been hitting the ball hard, He said, I don't think Nick was trying to hit a home run, but when you make good contact on a solid swing, that's what happens. Sometimes.
We're talking about this because it was a series sweep over a first-place team, and going into it, they had lost 6 straight. So instead of misery, how about some celebration?
Yeah, they were 7-15 going into the series, so now they're 10-15. So we've probably talked more about the Reds because they swept a first-place team in the American League.
Yes.
The news not so well. Actually, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was
the Guardians, after having some trouble with the Rockies, did finally pull out a win yesterday by a score of 4-1. I think I don't know if they're idle today. The Reds are.
Yes,
I don't know if
they
the Guardians are.
Yeah, both teams are off today.
The news, though, was not good for the Cleveland Cavs. Their season came to an end. New York Knicks beat them 4-1 in this NBA series, and this was pretty much a double-digit game the whole way through, and it ended up being an 11-point Knicks victory. But a good season all the same for the Cavaliers.
A lot more enjoyable to watch the Cavaliers this year than in previous years, and just happy for them to reach the playoffs. Just disappointed that they had such a poor showing in the playoffs.
Yeah, they didn't. They even themselves, each game that they lost, said we just aren't playing our game. So
yeah,
how that happens sometimes.
Well, and everything they put into it with this Mitchell kid to be able to get to the point where they could be in the playoffs the way they were. NFL draft is tonight. Round 1 is just tonight, and then they'll do rounds 2 and 3 tomorrow night, and then 4 through 7 on Saturday. And, of course, there's a limited area that you can see this.
Yeah,
I say that tongue-in-cheek. NFL Network, ABC, ESPN, ESPN2, it'll be everywhere, so you have a chance to watch it all. The Panthers have the number 1 pick. They got that in the trade with Chicago, and
Bryce.
They are likely to take Bryce Young. Houston Texans, we're being told, are likely to take C.J. Stroud.
Ohio State.
Arizona is likely to take Paris Johnson. Ohio State. A couple of other Buckeyes in here, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and also Dawan Jones are expected to also be gone maybe in this first round. Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yeah. And the Browns, they're not getting a lot of picks in the early rounds because of Deshaun Watson.
Who needs picks when you got Deshaun Watson?
Yeah. What did they say? Tomorrow's the first day they'll probably get something.
Yeah. Pittsburgh will be picking 17 for you Steelers fans. The Ravens fans picking 22nd. Cincinnati's first pick comes with the 28th pick overall in the first round. But the Cleveland will have a pick tomorrow, number 42. That's in the second round. They've got a compensatory pick later. The third round, they've got 2 picks in the fourth round, so I think they feel like we've done enough in free agency, and we'll see what we can get out of these picks.
Where is the draft being held?
Kansas City, Missouri.
It's in Kansas City.
Yes. So, again, you've got the Panthers, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, and Seahawks will be your first 5 teams.
Gotcha.
And that'll probably be done by 9:30 for those first 5 teams.
Right.
Tonight.
All righty. That's sports.
NFL draft takes forever. Because they've turned it into
almost like the NBA and NHL season.
Remember when they used to? Yeah, you're right. They remember when they used to have the draft and you didn't know anything about it?
Oh yeah.
Almost like the baseball draft used to be.
Oh yeah.
So
it's a big deal now.
Coming up, this date in history. Where does the Letter Media Wayback Machine take us to?
The year 4977 BC.
We're really dialing it up to go back.
Yeah. The beginning of the earth. According to this mathematician.
Okay. We will find out if that's true one day when we get to heaven.
Some scientist will probably laugh out loud on this one today.
Probably so. So that's just ahead. Stick with us. This is Dan and Mike on Litter Media Live.
This is Big Chillicothe. Horizon's 100% fiber internet service is coming to your area. Call 740-772-8331 or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe. Sign up today.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Time for this date in history as Mike has dialed up 4977 BC.
Yeah. According to German mathematician and astronomer Johann Kepler, the universe is created on this date in 4977. How he come up with that, I'm not sure. But Kepler is best known for his theories explaining the motion of planets. But he was as convinced of this as probably any scientist today is that we are billions of years old.
Well, then I got to think that maybe biblically he also tried to figure this out because according to the Bible, was 6,000 years?
Approximately, yeah.
Is that what?
If you go by the genealogies and all that sort of thing. So, as Dan said earlier, if it even matters at that point, when we get to heaven, we'll finally probably get the official word. Oh, it's only that young. Yeah, okay.
Well, and the thing I have always felt about it is God doesn't have a timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a recorded timeline of some sort, but he doesn't have a clock because biblically, when you see him speaking to Moses through the burning bush, he says, I am the great I am. I am because I was, and I is going to be, I is right now.
Is this Ubonics or what? I didn't know God spoke in Ubonics.
Basically, and when you take a look and they say what a day to God is 1,000 years.
And 1,000 years is a day.
So, right. Yeah. So there's no timeline, basically, is what God's saying.
Dan loves that time scale because that way he doesn't have to listen to the alarm clock.
Plus, I'm never late.
How many alarm clocks did we buy for you at the radio station?
One.
I thought we bought more than one because
No.
you broke one and we had to get you another one.
No,
so.
that wasn't me.
It was always...
There was somebody else.
His alarm clock was never set. The cat stepped on it. Actually, that did happen one time with me. Our cat walked on top of the clock and stepped on the
turned it off
button and knocked the time scale off. So
I have, and for the last, I don't know how many years, I've been using my cell phone as my alarm clock. And there are times where I'll leave the volume turned down and wake up late. But the other day, and now keep in mind, this is craziness. My son and his family lives across the creek from us, so they're very close by. Baby Amelia is delivered at some point in time around 7 a.m. in the morning.
In other words, dropped off. She's not being reborn again.
She appears.
Oh.
And that's when Dad goes to work. Mom goes to work earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes when Dad can't drop her off for some reason, Mom brings her a little early. Well, this was Tuesday, I think it was, and I was concerned that I was late. You know, that's the feeling I had.
Yeah.
You ever be in bed and you think, why isn't my alarm gone off or whatever? And the door opened, and I thought it was Danny bringing baby Amelia in because he brings her in, puts her in bed with Missy and me, which is what every grandparent dreams of.
Yeah, really. Okay.
And so I hear the door open. I jump up out of bed, and I see no one standing in the doorway. It was Bucky the cat decided to open the door because he was hungry.
Yeah. Hey, you're on my time now, Buck. Yeah, there we go.
Bucky and Joey have their clocks, and boy, animals inside the house.
Since we're talking about oversleeping, I think I shared this with you at lunch in Circleville the other day. One of my funnier oversleep moments when I was working at WCHI. We were a daytime station, which meant sun up, sun down. And usually when I was getting up to go to work, I think we signed on at 6 at that particular time, it was dark. Well, the phone rang. And when the phone rang, I looked, of course, I opened my eyes, and it's light. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. It was a listener calling my home, and this was not a family member. How this person got my number, I don't know.
Phone book.
Yeah, back in the
Mike
day
Smith.
when we had phone books. Mike, are you going to work this morning? And Claire Matheny was our office manager at the time. I threw my clothes on, took off. I was coming around the outer belt to Eastern Avenue, which is CHI at that time, was just down the road from where we are now. And I passed Claire, and when she looked over and saw me, the look on her face was priceless. It's like, what are you doing over here? Apparently she didn't have the radio, because the radio was, it was dead quiet at that particular time.
The one I was sharing with Mike during lunch was Dave Smith. And when we worked early in the morning, it was generally dark when we got up to start our day. And you knew you overslept if you could see a little bit of daylight. And so I heard this. We lived up on Pullman Road. Now, see, the radio station at that time was on Pullman Road, WBEX and KKJ. I lived just like 4 doors down from the radio station, but I worked at the station downtown at the time, was in the folk block, so I wasn't working for KKJ and BEX at the time.
You can say the call letters, by the way.
WFCB. And so I hear this knocking on the door, and I'm like, who's knocking on the door? And I wake up, and I see daylight, and I'm like, boy, I hope it's Saturday. And I go down, and I answer the door, and as I open the door, I see the back of Dave Smith as he's looking out the back 40 there across from the apartment complex, and he turns around, and I'm like, Dave, what are you doing here? And he says, are you coming to work today?
You know you're a big talent when the owner comes to your house to see, are you coming to work today?
And he was also the newsman, so he knew how to track me down. He found out where I lived, and used his resources, and I miss working with Dave.
I don't think Lowry Mays ever came to our doors asking us if we're coming to work on a particular day.
Never had that.
Former Clear Channel owner.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other. There was Ed Christian was the owner of Sunny 95 in that broadcast group. Yeah. And I remember walking through, and everybody was kind of, oh, Mr. Christian's coming. Mr. Christian's going to be here today and everything. I don't know where he's based, Detroit, I think. And so I came walking through out of the studio area and walking down, and he's there by the copier. And I said, Mr. Christian, I'm Dan Ramey, or Dan Mitchell, as you know me. And I said, I'm a Christian too, and just walked on. And Jody White, I remember her walking over, and she says, that was so funny. But she was afraid to laugh in front of Mr. Christian.
Yeah, right. Oh well.
Yeah, it's always cool to work with the owners close by.
There you go.
All right, that's a look at everything we have to share with you today and more. And we've got more for you available on our website, littermedia.com. We always have things on our Twitter page with the high school scores. Mike keeps us up to date on all of that in a really good fashion. And we've got littermedia.com as well as our YouTube channel and here on Facebook. So tell your friends. You want to find the good news and what's going on in the area? Just say Litter Media.
Yes.
There it is.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. For the icon, Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll see you tomorrow.